Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Wise Talk. I'm Kiran, and we got Margret Parker. Last week, we have seen the power to discriminate, or we can say how to overcome confusion and frustration. I'm really super excited to know what's coming up this week. Up to Nanny now.
Well, this week we're going to talk about the power to judge, or actually the power to decide. Because again, when we say judge, what comes to mind when you think of judge?
Okay, so very first thing now I have in my mind, I'm a bit confused. Cause, as you said, the last power was power to discriminate, and this power is power to judge. So what's the difference? Because they both have similar feeling, I guess. I'm getting that similar feeling of both the powers. So I'm not sure what exactly the power to judge is.
Well, maybe I can explain. This is why I like to use the word decide rather than judge, because we use the word judge when often we mean criticize. And again, I suppose we use the word discriminate when we mean criticize. So it all depends on which aspect of that particular word I'm using. If I use the word discriminate to mean discern, then it gives a totally different picture when I use it to mean criticize. And in the same way with the power to judge, if I say the power to decide, then it takes away that sense of being critical. So I really like to make that distinction and to talk about the power to make quick decisions.
Oh, that sounds good. Because
so how are you on making decisions, let alone quick ones?
You can conclude on my smiling face, like how well I'm good in making decisions. Well, it's a quite tricky question, trust me, but I don't know how well I am, because sometimes my decisions are really goes according to plan. Sometimes it just fails, but most of the time it fails. I don't know what's the reason behind it. Maybe I'm lacking this clarity of this power, or maybe I don't know what's happening. So definitely I would love to know about this power.
Do you take a long time to make decisions?
Absolutely, because I get confused between like what will happen, what won't happen, like kind of thinking of pros and cons makes me take long time to make decisions.
Okay, now here's another question. What if when you've made the decision, do you just let it go and move forward, or do you think, I wonder if that was the right decision to make?
Absolutely. Every single time, every single decision I have taken in my life, I rethink on it when I took that decision.
Right.
And I was like, is it really worth doing this? Or was that absolute right decision which I have taken, or it was just with the flow?
Okay, and on the whole, do you say to yourself afterwards, yes, that was the right decision?
Well, I forget when everything goes according to the plan and according to the decision. I don't think of that like, oh really, that was my decision. Now I just let it go. That's how the process of decision and everything works.
Right. Well, this is why I think these two powers, last week's power and this week's power, are so connected. Because I think when we use the power to discern correctly, we've actually done all the groundwork so that the power to decide is easy. So, and again, we can use that same yardstick that we used last week. Is this going to benefit me? Is it going to benefit the other person? And if the answer is yes to both those things, then it's an easy decision. It really is. We just say yes, then I'll go ahead with it. And I think one of the things we're very good at is giving ourselves a hard time over decisions that we make. And I always like to think that was my decision at the time because it seemed to be the right course of action. Now that can change immediately. I remember one time I was buying a new car, And I had a 4-door sedan, and I suddenly realized that my children had grown up and gone away from home, and I was mainly in the car by myself. So I thought to myself, do I need a car that has 4 doors, or will 2 doors do? So I decided, no, I don't. So 2 doors. So I bought a 2-door car. And as it happened, it was the right decision at the time. But as it happened, within a couple of months, or maybe even less, I started on this spiritual path. I started meditating, and I found that my circle of friends had increased, and I found myself giving lifts to people that I hadn't been doing before. Another thing that happened was a grandchild came along, and of course, babies have to have a special car seat. And I found that it was so difficult to get this baby out of the car seat with a 2-door car.
Yes.
So, but again, that didn't mean that it was the wrong decision. It meant at the time it was the way to go. But circumstances can change. So we need to be flexible, and we need not to give ourselves a hard time over these decisions, because things change.
Okay, so I have just a quick question, like, does this power help us to think ahead of time and take decisions, and will it allow us to think in that way, or it just to be in present and take decisions? As you said, you took a car based on your current conditions or current scenario, but if you would have think about the futures, like baby coming and your babysitting and stuff, and then you will need 4-door cars. So will if you would have known this power earlier, it would have helped getting car with 4 doors, or like it just giving. I'm just like a bit confused with that stuff. Like, does this power help us to get far-sighted vision and make decisions or not?
I don't really think that it does. I actually think the opposite, because I think this power is used in the present. It's used on the basis of what has happened in the past, which is I've evaluated a situation, and I've decided, I've looked at the pros and cons, and I have discerned that this is the way to go. So then I decide that that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so
it's not possible to look into the future, but the main thing is to have the flexibility that when circumstances change, that I can go with the flow.
So there are few decisions in life we need to take about people, and like that decisions can hurt people's feelings and emotions. So how you can overcome that situation? Will this power will help us to think about that emotions as well, of that person, of the family, or like kind of things?
Again, I think it gets back to using the first power first, the power to discern. And again, if I use the yardstick, will it benefit me? Will it benefit the other person? And certainly there's always at the back of my mind, I don't want to cause sorrow for any person. But what if I do? And it does happen. Because with the best will in the world, I might think that I'm not giving sorrow to someone, but they take sorrow from what I've said. So what can I do about that? Essentially, what I like to do is, firstly, tell them I'm sorry, that I didn't intend to cause them any sorrow, any hurt. And also to tell them that I value our relationship, that that's more important to me than anything else.
True,
so I think that really helps in that situation.
So what are the negative qualities we can overcome with this power, and how you have told, but what are the different qualities we can overcome?
The negative qualities that we can overcome with this are procrastination and hesitation, because again, it all gets back to doing the groundwork. So once I've done the groundwork and I recognize, I acknowledge what is the best course of action that will benefit me and benefit the other, then the decision becomes easy. But if I don't do the groundwork, then I'm more likely to procrastinate because it seems like too much for me to make this decision. So I defer it until
nice.
the future.
So one thing I forgot to ask, as you said, each power is represented with some different pictures to make it easy to identify. So what
do you think the power to judge? Let's use the word judge here. What is the symbol of justice in the legal system?
What do you say?
Do you know what it is? The scales.
Scales.
Yes, so we have the scales.
In
so
Hindi, we call it as tarazu.
Right.
Like scale based. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So of course the idea is that that everything gets weighed up, and if the negative overcomes the positive, then you're guilty and you get charged. But it's not really like that.
So it's
but
really
that's the image. Anyway.
It's quite. We have to think on this power more and more, then we can get more clarity how we can use this. So it's really nice to know about like how the power to judge, power to decide can help us to get wise decisions in our life. So what will be the wise tip for this the coming week for me and my audience?
The wise tip for the coming week will be, and again all of this happens through meditation, because the more I connect with my true self through meditation, that helps me to develop the clarity of mind to make quick decisions. So that will be the tip for next week. Through meditation and through clarity of mind, develop the ability to make quick decisions.
Thank you so much, Nanny. It was really beautiful. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Wise Talk. Please give us big thumbs up if you like our video. Please subscribe and press the notification icon so that you will get notified when we post our new videos. And please do comment and let us know what else you would love to know from Nanny in Wise Talk. Thank you so much. Keep listening, keep watching, and keep liking us.